Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. Today is the last day to apply for SRCC GBO, and a lot of students had queries that is this examination worth giving? What is the competition? They heard that the competition is very high for this examination. Yes, competition is high for every examination. If you take cat, like if you are in the top 1%, 2%, you get into the top colleges. Similarly, if you talk about other examinations, it is even more intense in them. Like if you talk about CMAT, TISNET, everywhere the competition is there. In this examination also, around 4,000 people take this examination, and there are 78 seats for different categories plus 12 supernumerary seats. So I'll discuss about those things and give you the pattern and the reason why you should take this examination, etc. So let us understand this examination, and then you can decide that whether you want to apply for this examination or not. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. So SRCC as an institute itself is a big brand name. It was founded in 1926. Although it may not be a tier one college when it comes to MBA, but the brand of the college plus the alumni base, that is something what matters here. And it is one of the premier institutes in the country, one of the best institutes in the Delhi University, especially for their undergrad courses. It is very difficult to get into. The competition is very tough there. So it offers courses in BCom, BA, economics, MCom, etc. They also have this additional program called Diploma in Global Business Operations. So that is what GBO means, Global Business Operation. It is not an MBA degree, but it is equivalent to MBA, and you do get decent placements as compared to many other B schools which you might be targeting. This one is quite good. So if we talk about the number of seats, there are 78 seats which are through. So basically, these are 12 supernumerary seats, total 90 seats. General category 31 seats, EWS 8, OBC 21, SC 12, ST 6, and 12 more supernumerary seats. So total of 90 seats. Now, the fees is the big thing. It is just 80,000 per semester. Okay, so for 2 years, you just have to pay 3.2 lakhs, which is like if you compare some colleges that offer MBA degree at some 10, 15 lakhs and offer you a placement, average placement of some, let's say, 10 to 12 lakhs. So it is much better to get into this institute than join those. Okay, because the brand value is there. uh, the placements are average. I wouldn't say that very great as compared to top MBA colleges, but still decent as compared to some other colleges which probably you hear a lot about. They do a lot of marketing about themselves, but definitely I would rate this college as better because located in Delhi, SRCC brand value, and on top of that, very good ROI also available here. Now, if you look at the examination pattern, because this is something which not many people write and not many people know, so I should tell you about this examination pattern. It has 160 questions to be done in 120 minutes. So here you need a lot of speed based test, and four sections: English, quant, logical ability, and data interpretation. So quant and data interpretation separate here. Let us look at section wise distribution. Okay, now English last year was easy. Since I appeared for this examination last year, I'll give you the feedback for the last year. English is easy. It had three reading comprehension, four questions each, and short direct questions, short passages, not very lengthy, maybe 3 to 400 words. 13 questions on fill in the blanks, single fillers, some double fillers. Vocabulary based 8 questions that include synonym, antonym, and analogies. So these included around 8 questions, paranumbers 3 questions, odd sentence out 2 questions, error spotting 2 questions. So English was the easiest section in the paper, wherein you do not take much time to attempt the questions. You know you can solve. If you do not know, you can skip those questions away. Okay. Now, DI last year was quite calculation intensive. There were 10 sets of 4 questions each. You could choose some of the sets based on your ability, and by just gauging the set that does it require a lot of calculations. So you could see there were 10 sets, two on line graph, two on tables, two caselets, two bar graph based, two double pie chart based. So two sets of each of the types, and then four questions in each one of them. If you go through the paper, you would see that okay, some of them were doable, some of them were quite calculation heavy. Okay, so it was since there is no sectional cutoff as such, you could choose that okay, these are the questions I wish to attempt in the paper, and then solve them. Now talking about the quant is moderate level, and 10 questions. So there are good number of questions in algebra, geometry, mensuration, number system. Now interesting part in geometry is you will get some questions on coordinate, and some questions on like last year there was a question on ellipse as well. Okay, so some unfamiliar questions which you do not get in most of the examinations, coordinate, geometry, ellipse based questions. So there were some questions, and moderate, some questions were doable, some questions were difficult in quant. Again, you could choose. It is about picking the right set of questions which you find that okay, this is the topic I'm comfortable with, let me attempt these questions in the examination. So there were a couple of questions on number series as well, and this was what the structure was. Now one should not be targeting that okay, I will attempt all 40 questions in quant. Even if you are able to do 25, 30 questions well, you are good to go. So the paper is about, like, you need to decide. You have 160 questions, 120 minutes. So the top score last year, my score was 466, top score was 470. Okay, so you can imagine that even the topper could not like out of 640 they could reach just this much, so 3/4 of the maximum score. So they must have done maybe 120, 125 attempts. Okay, so that is about this thing, that you need to pick the right set of questions. You will find some questions which are absurd, and you should just avoid them. Now LR section is quite lengthy. The reason is you do not have group questions. Now what happens in some of the examinations is you have puzzles and all wherein you have groups. Okay, so this gives you that okay, if you solve a puzzle, अगर seating arrangement कर लिया 3 4 क्वेश्चन तो बन ही जाएंगे types, which is not the case here. So there were 10 questions on critical reasoning, like strong weak argument, okay, course of action, conclusion, assertion, reason, cause effect, etc. All these types were covered in this. 5 questions on series, alphanumeric series, syllogism, 5 questions. Now, these are something that you can do fast, syllogisms. Then there were individual questions on puzzles like arrangement, binary logic. There were 2 questions on binary logic. Team selection also, there were 2 questions. Ranking based questions, like there are 5 people with different heights, you have to rank them. Those kind of questions. So individual, all uh, single questions, 8 such questions. Clocks and calendars, one each. 2 questions on directions. Blood relations, 2 questions. Okay, okay, so this has been some repeat. So logical Venn diagram and quant based questions also. Time, speed, distance, time and work, those were easy though. So you had a diverse, instead of this, there must have been some other topic, directions, blood relations. So all these were covered in the paper. So these kind of questions, you have all set of individual questions across different categories, like you have logic based Venn diagrams, syllogisms, blood relations, direction sense, everything. So you can pick those questions. Okay, I am good at syllogisms, I can do clocks and calendar based questions. So pick those questions and attempt them. That is the strategy in that. Let us say if you find critical reasoning difficult, you can choose to avoid most of those questions. So this was the structure of the LR section last year. So no group questions, hence the overall section was lengthy. Now, if you talk about the cutoffs, if I talk about the top score last year was 470. Okay, top score was 470. I got 466. That was rank 2. Okay, and there were very few people who crossed 400. Now, this is like Uh, the general category, the cutoff was 325, EWS 300, OBC 280, SC 222, ST, PWD. So these were the cutoffs. Now, what they do is they call 6 times the number of people. Okay, so for example, general category there were 31 seats, so they had called 187 people. Okay, so EWS 8 seats, so they had picked the top 48. OBC they had 21 seats, so they had called 126 people. So into 6 times they call for interview. Now in the interview, what happens is like you have 75% weight to your GBO score, and then 25%, then 10% to GD, and 15% to PI. So that is the selection criteria. So if your GBO score is good, let us say your score is 350 plus, then you can very easily convert. I mean, if your score is less, then you will have to probably do very good in order to convert. But if your GBO score is good, you can convert easily. Now, see, these things will keep on changing depending on the difficulty level of the paper. So maybe the cutoff last year was 325, it could go high if the paper turns out to be easy, and on the flip side it could be difficult as it could be lower as well. Okay, so go through the last year's paper, you will get it online, and like you get to know, okay, what is the level of paper that was tested last year. Okay, and then can evaluate yourself that okay, yes, this is something that I can target. Now placement report, if you go through, this is on their site. Now this is some report that you can trust. Okay, the SRCC is a great institute. I don't think that they will false present any false information on their site, which probably many of the private institutions might do. Okay, so the batch size for this batch of 2022 was of 84 candidates, and there were 55 recruiters. The average package is 10.6 lakhs per annum, and highest package was 21.32 LPA. So you can see that the average is decent as compared to the fees. Now there are many other colleges which you might apply to, uh, the private institutes and all, wherein you might not get this good placements as compared to the fees. So from ROI point of view, this is a good college. I won't say that it's a tier 1 college, but definitely much better than many other institutes which you might have heard of and might be applying there. So you could give a chance here as well. So these are the top companies which came to the campus: American Express, Deloitte, Dell, KPMG, Shri Ram Group, EY, Extria, Tech Mahindra, etc. Okay, so these are some of the recruiters. You can go through the placement reports on their site as well to understand in detail the sector wise placement and all. So this is about SRCC GBO. Today is the last day to apply for the examination. If you are thinking of uh, okay, so like if you feel that okay, yes, I want to apply to this test, I would say that you should keep this as one of the options, and possibly you can do well. uh, Go through last year's paper also, and I'm sure that if you're prepared well, if your calculations and other things are good, because it requires a good amount of calculations. 80 questions on quant and DI. So if you're good with mathematics, and the level of English also is not very high, you can do decent in this examination and probably get into this institute as well. So this was about some information about the examination, and today is the last day to apply. So if you're thinking of it, you can do so. I'll come up with some practice sessions for this examination as well, including last year papers will be. Thank you for watching this video.